Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So we are in the front yard today, and as you can see, we are still doing our front yard edits. So if you saw our previous episode, we put in these abelias here. So we're going to be extending these beds and removing the grass, so it'll all be one bed now. I grew a lot of perennials from seed last year in preparation for this. We're going to be prepping the soil to plant these perennials, and I'm just so excited because this is going to get full sun. So I'm excited for the fun plants I'm going to be able to put in here. So there's a few perennials that I bought ready to plant. One of them is this, let me show you. It's called Jolt Cherry Dianthus. And I just love the height. And look at all the blooms that are about to burst open. And then I have this purple Homestead Verbena. I also have this Mystic Spire Salvia, then that amazing stained glass hosta back there. I'm going to have to find a shady spot towards maybe the back of the bed, and I might even divide it, so we'll see. And I did find this awesome grass too, so I've got a few things to play with, and I'm just glad that, oh yeah, and look, I've got a couple of lantanas too. There's no flowers on them, but anyways, that is what we're going to be doing today. So I am so glad you joined us, and stay tuned. This rose, it's a beautiful Monrovia floribunda, and it was right there in that spot where that yellow rose is now. It was just way too vigorous for that spot. That's a pretty tight area right there, and I was having to trim it nonstop. So this rose came out, that rose went in, and now we've got to find a spot for this new rose because I'm not parting with it. It was too beautiful. So anyway, that leads us to where we are today. So the first step is to design your borders. So your design will depend on your preferences. We have more of a rustic garden, so we have curved lines, rustic stone. If you prefer modern, you're going to want more sleek stones and straight lines. So guys, if you want your perennial bed to be a success and you want your plants to not only survive but thrive, soil should be your priority. So I have clay soils, so I have to amend my soil. I can't sheet mulch like what's real popular on social media right now. You put cardboard down, you put the mulch on top. That just will not work for our clay soils. So it's really important that you amend your entire bed if you want those plants to thrive over time. They need the nutrients. Amend that soil and make it nutrient rich for your new perennials. Typically when we amend our soils, it's in our beds. And so that clay has already been amended. And this clay is pretty significant. It's throughout this bed. So we're gonna put a layer of expanded shale along the very bottom, and then we're gonna mix some of this soil conditioner in with our landscapers compost, and add that on top, and then I'll just amend when I plant individual plants. So I know in the past I've used pea gravel, but this is a different story. So I just want to let y'all know that this is our option here. So the way it helps clay soils, you can read here, is it's a porous material, and so it absorbs the moisture and it holds air, so it allows the roots of your plant to breathe. So since it holds on to that moisture, it also slowly releases the moisture into the surrounding soils when it's needed. So it's good for both clay and sandy soils. So if you want a perennial garden that's going to look good year-round, you want to focus not just on the blooms, but on the foliage texture and contrast. Try to combine shades of varying greens and silvers and dark purples. So the Dusty Miller here with the Japanese maple behind it. Nice contrast. We've got the light abelia over here with the variegated foliage. So the next thing is your color scheme. So I'm in the boat where I like all kinds of colors. Give me everything. That's just what I love. But you want to decide, do you want to stay in the pink family? Do you want pinks and blues? Do you like reds? You can refer to the color wheel for complementary colors, and you want to repeat your colors throughout your garden to give it a more cohesive look. Well, when it comes to our favorite part, the blooms, just make sure you're choosing perennials that bloom at different times of year. So spring, summer, fall, winter. And then if you want year-round interest, you can leave them and add some winter interest with the textures that your plants leave behind for the season. So next is plant height. So I know the typical rule is put the taller things in the back and the shorter things in the front, but in my book, there's no rules. I have a lot of things that are tall in the front of my beds, and I like the way that looks. That's just how I do my garden. So it's your garden. You do what you like, and that will be what's best for you. So budget is another factor that's important in perennial gardens. So if you are on a budget, you should definitely start growing your perennials by seed. You can grow a bulk of perennials that way, and then you can even harvest those seeds and grow more. In addition to seed, you can also just divide existing perennials in your garden, or you can buy perennials at the nursery and see if they're able to be divided into 2 or 3 plants. Look, excuse the mess in my greenhouse. I see so many people that have the cutest greenhouses, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little envious. I have some ideas to make it cute, but ultimately I use it and it gets messy and I cannot keep up with it. So I would like to make it cute, but I think I'm just, usually when I'm out here gardening, I'm just so, not rushed is the word, but I just have projects and I want to get them done, and it's not usually keeping my greenhouse neat, so. All right, the next thing to consider is drainage and water. You need to figure out if you're going to do a drip system, overhead watering, and just make sure your drainage is sufficient. Our gutter drains down into this area. We need to make sure to send the water elsewhere. Perfect. All right, so everything is spread, but we still have a whole lot of dirt that we need to add to this. So it's a nice huge space, but we need at least like a foot or 2 more of dirt. When considering how you want to water, keep in mind that perennials typically like drip and don't necessarily like overhead watering. So if you can convert your system, that would be perfect. All right, well now it's time to convert the sprinkler head to a drip system. All right, so we have a grid. We're gonna go ahead and test it and make sure everything works, no leaks. All right, we just turned it on. Leaks everywhere. There's one there. There's one there. All the leaks are fixed. We're just gonna keep piling on the layers until we reach the top of the stones. The last key point is maintenance, but the maintenance will depend on the type of perennial you have. You'll have to cut it back and fertilize as needed. All right, well, it's finished. Let the fun begin. This is just so exciting. Make sure to subscribe so you can see the final results.